Hey friend, Tina Fike here. I am the Coreblades chick, and in these Strength A, B traditional sessions, all I've done is I have substituted in movements that don't require core blades. That way you're able to do these sessions whether or not you have core blades, whether or not you've been able to purchase them yet, you have an option, okay? Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any of the programs that I put out every 5 to 6 weeks. And make sure that if you want additional help or support, weekly coaching calls, access to an accountability group and community, well, check out Fix Your Body, my monthly membership program. Information in the description below. Otherwise, enjoy the session. And please keep in mind that yes, I am pregnant. The first 5 or 6 programs that are coming out on this channel, I am going to be pregnant. I have pre-recorded them all. So I'm going to look about this size for the next couple of programs. Every movement I have chosen feels completely safe for me. I have clearance from my doctor. However, this program is not being marketed to pregnant women. That doesn't mean it is not safe. That is just not how I am marketing it. These programs are for any body, capital B-O-D-Y, that is trying to get fixed and get strong and just get back to living life. Okay, so here we go. Let's dive into this warm-up. We're gonna start in a bear position with breath, and we're also gonna be working on switching our pelvis from anterior tilt to posterior tilt while we're in the top of that bear position. So I'm in quadruped, all fours. I've got my feet against a wall or the back of the door, and a block is really useful here. Put it between your knees or your thighs. It's gonna help turn on your inner thigh, your adductor muscles, which help you connect to your low core and really feel those lower core muscles. And what I'm gonna do from this position, I'm gonna press away from the floor, get long through the back of my head and my neck. And as I go into my bear position, where my knees are just hovering over the floor, okay? From here, I'm gonna practice inhaling and exhaling. When I inhale, I want to really expand through my back, through my ribs. My lungs are up here in my chest, right? I want to fill my lungs, expand through my ribs, expand through my belly, and draw that breath all the way through to the wall behind me. And then as I exhale, I'm going to imagine that I'm inflating a balloon here, okay? And I'm drawing that breath from the bottom up out of me, okay, as I inflate that balloon. So pretty forceful, long, slow, forceful exhale. And while I do that, I'm going to work on going into an anterior tilt with my pelvis and a posterior tilt, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna come into bear. As I inhale, I'm gonna posterior tuck my pelvis. And as I exhale, I'm going to anterior tilt my pelvis. Inhale, exhale, inhale, pressing away from the floor the whole time, long through my neck and the back of my head. If you need to drop your knees at any time, do it. And if you need to play with the positioning of that block, also you can do that. If a little wider feels better or in a more narrow stance, just play with that. And I want 5 to 6 good, slow breaths. Playing with that anterior, posterior tucking of the pelvis. Okay, now from here, we're gonna play with some hip shifting. So I want you to grab, I'm using a PVC pipe, but you can also use just a whole paper towel roll. Works really well for this. So you have something that you can slide your legs along. So I'm gonna put my feet up in a 90 degree here on the wall. Okay, and from this position, my feet are on the wall, right? And I've got this between my knees. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shift this one leg straight up while my other leg kind of draws down toward the floor, right? And I'm in a posterior tilt of my pelvis. And then I'm gonna switch. Okay? And I'm doing this with my arms just to demonstrate how my hips are moving, my pelvis rather. And give me about 8 to 10. Okay, and so what I don't want to see is a lot of movement laterally or side to side when you do this exercise. Straight up with this knee, straight up toward the ceiling, and this knee pulls straight down toward the floor, and then you switch. So I'm trying to isolate this movement of the pelvis. So we go from tipping our pelvis like a bowl to this lateral shifting. So we're helping to really connect with our pelvis and introduce more mobility to the pelvis, which is gonna help your pelvic floor tremendously. And it's also gonna help you if you deal with hip pain or lower back pain, even knee or foot issues. It's amazing how much can be tied to your pelvis. Okay, and then our last warm-up exercise is gonna help us turn on our hamstrings and our glutes. So I'm in the same position on the wall, and I'm gonna drag my feet down the wall, posterior tuck of the pelvis, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do some bridges, and down. Keeping a posterior tilt of the pelvis as I come up and down. Dragging the feet down the wall to really feel my hamstrings, and I'm trying to really connect with my pelvic floor here. And continuing to practice that good breath, trying to keep that posterior tuck of the pelvis. And something you can play with here, if you struggle to really feel that, is to put a block between your knees here. And that can, again, we're turning on the adductors, we're helping to connect with those ab muscles. And something else you can try too, so I'm still in that posterior tilt, is as you come up, you can lift your heels slightly off the wall. As you come down, the toes come off the wall, okay? But I stay in that posterior tilt. And that can also just help you connect to these muscles that can be really difficult to activate and turn on. And anywhere from 8 to 10, just kind of go until you really feel this firing and warming up. So we can go into our workout just connected to our core and to our pelvic floor. Okay, now we're gonna move into our first strength set. For this, you're gonna wanna have a pair of dumbbells, or you could also use a kettlebell or a pair of kettlebells, okay? You can really make this your own. And I want you to make sure that you are adequately challenged for your body right now, okay? And the other thing you're gonna wanna have is a band that is hooked up high. You can use a door anchor hooked up over the top of a door. I have an eye bolt set up here in my wall, and so I just have mine connected up pretty high to the ceiling on my wall here, about the same height as the top of a door frame, okay? Now, the first exercise in this superset, we're gonna have 2 exercises, is gonna be a floor press. You could also do this with a bench. You just wanna make sure that you can put your feet on a wall or the back of a door so that we can drag our feet down the wall and really activate those hamstrings, okay? That's gonna keep you from performing this movement with your lower back muscles or by compensating through the front side of your body for a lack of connection through your pelvis and your posterior chain. So my feet are on the wall or the back of the door. I'm dragging down. I want you in a slight posterior tilt of the pelvis or a bit of a tuck of your butt. And from here, you want to think about drawing your ribs down and back. So I take a good breath in, and as we exhale, my elbows are at my sides, my shoulder blades are kind of drawn down toward my back pockets, and I'm gonna press up toward the ceiling. And I wanna make sure that I press enough that I get into some protraction through my shoulder blades. Then I'm gonna come down, breathe in, expand, exhale, press. And you'll note the whole time, I'm dragging my feet down the wall, and I'm keeping it very slight posterior tuck of my pelvis. And we're gonna do anywhere from 8 to 12. You kind of choose your own adventure here. Very scalable to your fitness level. I am a terrible counter, which is so funny considering I minored in statistics in college. Okay, I'm gonna call that good there, and we're gonna go to our next exercise. For this row variation, I want your band set up pretty high. Using a fitness door anchor over a door works super well. You can get them on Amazon for $5 or $6. They are super cheap. And use a carabiner to connect your band. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a seated or a short row position. And from here, what I want you to do, I want you to have your knees relatively tucked into your chest. I of course have an obstruction here, but I think you get the idea. And I want you to really think about, in this position, getting stacked between your ribs and your pelvis. And for that, we're gonna get in a slight lean back position. So I don't want you leaning forward. I don't want you leaning way back. I want you to kind of find that middle ground where you really feel connected between your ribs and your pelvis, okay? So I've got my band here, and we're gonna get a little bit of rotation. And I want to stack my ribs and my pelvis so that I can isolate that rotation in my upper body, okay? We're gonna do anywhere from 8 to 12 per side. I'm here in this position, and I wanna feel that length through this lat. And as I pull, as I row, you'll notice my knuckles are up here on this band, and as I row, I'm rotating the knuckle toward the ceiling, and I'm rotating through my upper body. I'm reaching. Okay, so here, my shoulder blade is kind of pulled off my ribs. I'm in a lengthened position. Then I'm gonna pull, rotate my wrist a bit, and reach. Inhale. Exhale, pull. Excellent. I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Breathe and expand through my ribs, all the way down through to my heels. So I'm really isolating that thoracic rotation. Excellent. And we're gonna go round 2. Here we go. I'm dragging my feet down the wall. Posterior, slight posterior tuck of the pelvis. I've got my ribs down and back. My shoulder blades are just slightly down. And from here, I'm gonna take my good breath in, expand, exhale, press. And get into protraction at the top, just a little bit. My chin is up, so my airway's nice and open. Toes are relaxed. Anywhere from 8 to 12. Excellent. And we're gonna go into our next exercise here. Second time through here on my pull. So I'm in my short row position, seated. Get stacked here through the ribs and the pelvis, nice and stacked. Inhale, lengthened here. Shoulder blade comes a little off the ribs, and anywhere from 8 to 12. You're in charge of how challenging that is based on the resistance of this band. Or a cable machine if you're at the gym, doing this at the gym. Super, and we'll switch to the other side. My chin is up, airway is open. Super. Now, you can always choose to press pause and do a third round of these exercises as you progress. So always an option, press pause if you want that third round. For this adductor side plank, I'm gonna show you 2 variations. One is against the wall, the other is just freestanding in the room. For this adductor side plank, if I'm using a wall, that is going to be my preference here, especially when we're first getting into this exercise. I want you to have your hips and your shoulders pretty close to the wall. That's just gonna help you stay aligned, because as we come up into our plank, this top foot is going to press into the wall, okay? So my knees are bent. I want to think really stacked between my ribs and my pelvis. I'm going to push off of that bottom leg to come up into that plank. And from here, I'm going to raise this top leg and put the foot against the wall. And you want to think about dragging that heel a little toward your butt. That's really going to help activate the hamstring and that glute, but you're really going to feel that bottom glute, okay? Now, from that position, I want you to think a little posterior tilt of the pelvis, and we're gonna reach this arm out, thumb a little pointed toward the floor, and we're gonna breathe. 3 to 5 breaths. And you can also play with reaching up overhead if you get better expansion there. And in that position, you can also think about a little forward rotation of this top hip and the torso, little rotation downward. So we can really think about stacking here and staying rotated and reaching through the rear side of the rib cage. All right, my second variation here is just going to be off of the wall. And what I'm gonna do, knees are bent, I'm in the same stacked position here through my hips and my torso. And for this variation, I'm going to come up into my plank, and then the top femur is gonna push forward, knee in front of the bottom knee, and then I'm gonna raise up and reach forward. Again, thinking a little forward roll with that top hip, breathing, and you can play with that arm position. And we'll do 3 to 5 breaths per side. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides here. I'm gonna do the variation off of the wall, but you choose the variation that works best for you today. So I've got my hips and my back close to the wall. I'm gonna come up, foot on the wall, dragging the heel toward my butt, adjust my position as I need to. Thinking posterior tilt of the pelvis, dragging my heel towards my butt, and I'm gonna reach and I'm gonna breathe 3 to 5 good breaths. Really reaching, slight rotation forward and down. Okay, I'm gonna go to the other side. Finishing out round 1. And then I'll do our other variation for our second round. So I'm here, I'm in line with my wall, come up, foot against the wall, dragging a little toward that glute, and I'm gonna reach. I like to reach up, but you could reach right here in front of you if that expansion feels better to you. Okay, so I'm gonna go back, take a little break if you need it, press pause if you need some more time. Second round, stick with whichever movement variation you have chosen for this session, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna do the other exercise, okay? So I'm here, pressing into the ground, I'm nice and stacked, ribs and pelvis. I'm going to come up, thinking a little forward with my torso and this top hip, posterior tilt of my pelvis, push this knee forward a little in front of that bottom, raise up and reach. 3 to 5 breaths. Super, and other side. We'll finish this out. So I'm gonna get nice and stacked. Come up into my plank. Push that top femur and knee forward a bit. Raise it up. and reach. Little internal rotation here, posterior tuck of the pelvis. 3 to 5 breaths. Excellent. And of course, you always have the option of pressing play or pressing pause and doing one more round. For our last strength set, we're going to go between a hinging exercise and a squat exercise. For our hinge exercise, I'm going to show you a body weight variation and I'm going to show you a loaded variation. If you are just starting to retrain your hinge pattern, don't be a hero. Don't go right to the load. I promise this is more challenging than it seems, even if you've been a lifter for all of your life, because I want to teach you how to connect with your body in a different way. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into our kickstand position. So you're going to find your load in your front foot, kind of like find your mid stance balance over this front foot. And then we're just going to kickstand this other leg down. Okay, it's just a kickstand. I've got most of my weight in this front leg. Now, I want you to place your hand on your glute, okay, on your butt. And from here, as you hinge down, I want your knee to stay a little bent. So just kind of soften your knee so that it's just over your shoelaces or towards your midfoot. And as I hinge forward with my body, this knee is going to stay bent. I'm going to push my butt into this hand. And I'm gonna think long, long, long through my body, like I have a stick running from my sacrum all the way through to the back of my head, and I'm trying to get long through my spine, reaching across the room as I push into that hand, and as my knee stays forward, and as I hinge my body, okay? So I breathe in, I expand, I'm pushing into this hand, this knee stays bent, and I feel this tripod of pressure. The back just behind my big toe, just behind my pinky toe, okay, those mounds, the ball of my foot, and the middle of my heel, okay? My toes are relaxed. Now, as I go to push up, I wanna push into the ball of my foot just behind my big toe, and my pinky toe is gonna drive me up. My knee stays bent so that my hip can extend, but my knee stays soft and bent so that I'm not locking out my knee here and turning this into a hip flexor exercise. Okay, it's where a lot of people go wrong in their deadlifts, okay? So from here, again, I'm gonna push into my hand, knee stays soft and bent, long, 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 really stretching my spine across the room as I hinge. And then I'm gonna drive through the ball of my foot behind my big toe and my pinky toe. Hip extends, knee stays soft and forward. Excellent. Now, if you wanna add some load, you can grab a kettlebell, you can grab a dumbbell, but I'm gonna be in this same kickstand position, hand on my butt, nothing changes, push into my hand with my butt, long, 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 stretching my crown across the room. Keep breathing. Then I'm gonna drive through that ball of my foot behind the big toe, behind the pinky toe, push forward a little bit with my glute, knee stays soft and bent. Here we go. Now we're gonna do anywhere from 8 to 12 per side. Again, don't be a hero. If you're just getting started with this, go body weight. It is intense, I promise. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start on my other side. You pick your adventure here. You can also choose to put your kickstand heel against a wall. That can help you just stabilize and balance. Because eventually, I really like to do this exercise with that foot elevated at a 90. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna push that glute or butt cheek into my hand. Knee is forward, just over my shoelaces or my midfoot. Long, long, long through my spine. And then drive through the ball of my foot behind my big toe and my pinky toe. Squeeze that glute, extend the hip, but keep that knee soft and forward. Here we go. And I already feel the burn. Woo! And that's body weight. Relax those toes. Makes a big difference whether you relax your toes or you clench your toes. Like really play with that. Play with doing a rep with your toes just gripping onto the floor. And then do a rep where your toes are relaxed. You'll be amazed at how that just shifts where you feel that. Huge difference that just fixing and changing your feet can make. All right, let's go to the other side. So find that mid stance balance. Place your kickstand down, butt cheek into your hand. Here we go, weighted or unweighted. Long through the spine. Push your butt cheek into your hand. Knee is bent over those laces. Press through the big toe and the pinky toe joint. And the glute. Keep that knee soft and bent. And again, the exercise stays the same whether I'm using a weight or I'm just going for body weight. Super. All right, let's go to our next exercise. We're gonna finish this set with a squat to box. It's really helpful if you have something to actually sit to. It's gonna make it much more difficult for you to compensate and give you a safe place to sit back onto, especially if you're somebody who is just coming back to squatting or you're used to squats being painful. I highly, highly recommend it. You also see here that I'm using some wedges. You can use smaller wedges, wedges off Amazon, whatever. These are made by my same friend who created Coreblades. They are amazing. I love them. I use them for so many things, but you can also make this work with rolled up towels to just prop up your ankles or your heels so that if you have any limitation in your dorsiflexion, which is just your foot's ability to flex here, then that's gonna make it easier for you to get full range of motion in your squats, okay? So I'm gonna get up on my wedges. And another useful tool here can be to use a block, okay, or a skinny foam roller. Put it between your knees like so. That's just gonna help you turn on your adductors, your inner thigh muscles, so that you can connect better with those lower core muscles, okay? So I'm here, I'm gonna find my nice tripod of pressure through my feet, just behind my big toes, just behind my pinky toes, and the middle of my heel. I'm gonna breathe in, to expand, exhale, to draw my ribs down and back to get me in a really nice position and to stack my ribs and my pelvis. I'm gonna come down, grab my weight. You can also do this body weight at first until you feel really comfortable, okay? So I take a good inhale, exhale, draw my ribs down and back. I'm gonna let my hamstrings, while I maintain this stack between my ribs and my pelvis, pull me down. Just tap onto that box, and then I exhale to come back up. So I inhale, let my hamstrings pull me back, maintain my stack. Exhale to drive back up. And make sure at the top my knees stay soft. I'm not shoving my hips forward and overextending through my hips here, because then I'm gonna feel that in my low back, okay? So tripod of pressure through my feet, breathe in, pull down and back with my hamstrings. Exhale, come up. Feel those glutes. Stay connected. And we're gonna do anywhere from 6 to 12. And you can also do this with, like you can set up with a chair, with a couch, with an ottoman, with a bench. Anything you have available to you to sit on is going to be great. Okay, it doesn't have to be a setup like mine, so don't let that deter you. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and go into round 2. Press pause if you need more time. Let's go. So weighted or unweighted, you choose your adventure here. Hand is on the butt. Don't forget to breathe and expand, get long through the spine. My butt is pushing into my hand. My knee is bent over my midfoot. Press through the big toe and the pinky toe joint. Glute turns on, so I'm extending my hip, but not locking out my knee at the top. Relax your toes. Anywhere from, seriously, 6 to 12 is fantastic. Here we go. Find that midfoot balance, place down your kickstand, or you can have that heel against the wall, hand on the butt cheek, weighted or unweighted. Breathe in, expand, stretch the spine, stretch the crown of your head across the room. Press through the big toe, pinky toe joint, squeeze the butt, extend the hip without locking the knee. So we focus on that glute, length, length, length. Anywhere from 6 to 12, you choose your own adventure here. Note that I am not forcing this weight to go all the way to the floor. You go as far as you can before you start to really lose your form, or start to feel that in your back or somewhere you shouldn't, okay? Quality over quantity and speed always takes precedent. Let's finish this out. Again, you can do this from a couch, from a chair. Use a rolled up towel under your heels. You can use other wedges, whatever, to find the right setup for your body. Same with the block. Only use it if it helps you, if it feels good. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Play with it, okay? So I'm gonna breathe in, exhale to draw my ribs down and back, to get control of my ribs and my pelvis. Come down, grab my weight. If I'm using weight, this is a great exercise to do body weight until it feels comfortable, but load it up when you're ready. Inhale, let your hamstrings pull you down and back. Maintain that stack between the ribs and the pelvis. Exhale, come up. Anywhere from 6 to 12. I'm just tapping my box or my chair and coming back up. Stay connected with your feet, relax your toes, hamstrings. Maintain your control. Nicely done. And I'm a terrible counter, but story for another day. If you need, press pause and do a third round of that. That is always an option as you progress. Otherwise, we're gonna go to our breathing. For our cool down today, we're gonna do some just prone breathing in a bit of a child's pose position. If you struggle to really expand through your back, I highly recommend using a yoga block and just placing it between your belly and your upper thigh. I can't really do this very well right now because of well, being pregnant. But if you put a block here or a rolled up towel, that's gonna help you just get into your back for that expansion. But I'm gonna get into this position. Elbows are underneath me, long through the back of the head and the neck. Like I said, block or towel here to just help you expand. And I just want you to breathe in, expand, 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 drawing that breath all the way through to the wall behind you, and then exhale, drawing your ribs down. Imagine you're inflating a balloon here at your mouth. Forceful exhale, long and slow. And I just want you to give me about 8 to 10 good breaths here. So we're just helping to downregulate that nervous system and manage our stress levels at the end of a great workout. Awesome. I hope you had a great workout. Keep press and play, keep moving forward, friend. And as always, if you want to get yourself a pair of core blades, comment below core blades and I will hook you up. If you want to get involved in my private membership community and my app delivered at your own pace, scheduled for you programs for less than $60 a month, comment below, coach me. Same thing, coach me if you need some help modifying exercises or have any other concerns. I would love to chat. I would love to get to know you. keep pressing play, keep moving forward, and until next time, talk to you soon.